Millions of retirees checked their bank account this month, and their Social Security payment was simply not there. No warning, no explanation, just a missing deposit on the exact day it was supposed to arrive. If that has ever happened to you or someone you love, stay right here, because what we are about to share could save you from a lot of unnecessary stress and confusion. Welcome to Senior Authority. I am Floyd Flow, and with me as always is the person who keeps our entire community one step ahead, our retirement research analyst, Dyna. Today, we are breaking down exactly why this is happening, what is going on inside the banking system, and what every retiree needs to know to protect their monthly income. This is important, so do not go anywhere. Dyna, you have been researching this closely. What is actually going on? Floyd, what I found genuinely surprised me. Most retirees assume that once Social Security sends their payment, it travels straight into their bank account instantly. But there are actually several steps happening behind the scenes that most people have absolutely no idea about. And recently, changes inside the banking system have started affecting exactly when that deposit becomes visible in your account. The money is not disappearing, but the timing of when you can actually see it and use it is being affected in ways that nobody is talking about. And that is exactly what we want to change today. That is a really important distinction, Dyna, and I am glad you brought that up. So let me walk everyone through how this whole process works from start to finish. First, Social Security authorizes your monthly benefit based on your eligibility and benefit amount. That authorization goes to the United States Treasury, which is responsible for issuing the actual payment. From there, the funds move through the Federal Reserve's electronic payment network, which connects financial institutions across the entire country. Once the payment enters that network, it is routed to your bank using your routing number. Your bank then receives the deposit and prepares to credit it to your account. Sounds straightforward, right? But Dyna, this is exactly where things get interesting. Exactly, Floyd. When the bank receives that electronic payment, it does not always appear in your account instantly. Before the deposit becomes visible in your balance, the bank's internal systems run a series of automated checks. These checks confirm that the deposit is legitimate and that your account details match their records. For most deposits, this happens overnight while the banking system runs its daily updates. By morning, the money is already there. But here is what has changed recently, and this is what every retiree watching right now needs to understand. And Dyna, this connects directly to something you have been tracking very closely over the past several months. Tell us what you found. Absolutely, Floyd. What my research shows is that financial institutions across the country have faced a dramatic rise in fraud attempts, identity theft cases, and scams that specifically target senior citizens and retirement accounts. Criminals know that Social Security accounts receive predictable monthly deposits, so they target them aggressively and constantly. Because of this, banks have invested heavily in advanced monitoring systems that quietly review incoming transactions in real time. They analyze account history, recent changes to account details, login activity, and dozens of other security signals all at once. In most cases, this review happens so fast that the customer never notices anything different. The deposit just appears as normal. But occasionally, when the system flags something for a closer look, the deposit may not appear in your visible balance right away while that brief review takes place. And this is causing real confusion for retirees who have no idea this process even exists. And we actually heard from one of our longtime Senior Authority viewers who went through exactly this. Dyna, walk us through that case because it really brings this to life. So this viewer reached out to us after going through something that genuinely frightened him. He had been receiving his Social Security retirement benefits for years and planned his entire month around that deposit. One morning, he checked his account. The date was correct. The payment should have been there, but the balance had not changed. He immediately started wondering if his benefit had been stopped, if there was a mistake, or if something had gone wrong with his account entirely. For a few hours, there was simply no clear answer, and that uncertainty was incredibly stressful for someone whose entire monthly budget depended on that money arriving on time. But later that afternoon, the deposit appeared in his account exactly as it should have. The amount was correct. The payment date was correct. Nothing had actually gone wrong at all. What happened was that his bank had recently upgraded its fraud monitoring system. When the Social Security deposit arrived overnight, the system placed a temporary verification check on the transaction. The payment was already inside the banking system, but had not yet been released to his visible balance while that quick review was being completed. A few hours later, everything was confirmed and the funds were credited to his account automatically. And Dyna, that story really says it all. From the bank's perspective, the system was doing exactly what it was designed to do: protect the account holder from fraud. But from the customer's perspective, those few hours of uncertainty feel like an eternity, especially when your entire monthly budget depends on that one deposit arriving on time. That is exactly right, Floyd. And this is something I always want our senior authority community to hold on to. A payment that appears later in the day does not mean Social Security made a mistake or that your benefit has been reduced or delayed. In most cases, the payment has already arrived at your bank and is simply moving through that final processing step before it becomes visible to you. Knowing that one fact alone can completely change how you respond in that moment instead of panicking. Now, Dyna, let's talk about the specific situations that can trigger these deposit reviews, because retirees really need to know what to watch for. Great point, Floyd. The first trigger is recent changes to account information. If you recently updated a phone number, mailing address, email address, or login device, some bank security systems will temporarily monitor your incoming transactions more closely. Any recent change to account details can signal the system to double-check that everything is legitimate before releasing funds. The second situation is switching banks or opening a new account. Many retirees move their Social Security deposits to a new financial institution for better service or lower fees. But when a federal benefit arrives at a newly opened account, the bank may briefly review the first few deposits to verify that your identity matches the payment information on file. The third situation involves account closures or restrictions. If a bank account was closed, frozen, or restricted before your payment arrived, that deposit may actually be returned to the U.S. Treasury. When that happens, Social Security has to reissue the payment to the correct account, and that takes additional processing time. This is why keeping your banking information current with the Social Security Administration is not just helpful, it is essential. Could not agree more, Dyna. And there is actually another reason deposits sometimes appear late that has nothing to do with fraud reviews at all. It simply comes down to how individual banks schedule their internal posting cycles. Each bank has its own system for updating customer account balances. Some release federal deposits very early in the morning before customers even wake up. Others complete their processing later in the day after all overnight transactions have been fully reviewed and finalized. So, two retirees receiving Social Security on the exact same day using different banks can see their deposits appear hours apart from each other. One person checks their app at 6 in the morning and the money is already sitting there. Another person at a different bank may not see that same deposit until the afternoon. Both payments left the federal system at the same time. The only difference is when each bank chose to release those funds to the visible account balance. And Floyd, that is such a critical point. That is exactly why I always tell our senior authority viewers, if your deposit is not there, first thing in the morning, please do not panic. Check again later in the afternoon. Many banks run multiple processing cycles throughout the day, and a deposit that was not visible at breakfast can appear completely on its own during one of those later updates without you needing to make a single phone call or take any action at all. Now, let's make sure everyone knows exactly when their payment should be arriving each month. Dyna, break down the official Social Security payment schedule for us. Of course, Floyd. Many retirees are surprised to learn that Social Security payments are not sent on the same day for everyone. If you receive Supplemental Security Income, known as SSI, you typically receive your payment on the first day of the month. If that first day falls on a weekend or a federal holiday, the payment usually arrives on the last business day before that date. For retirement benefits and Social Security disability insurance, the schedule is based on your birth date. If your birthday falls between the 1st and the 10th of the month, your payment arrives on the second Wednesday. If your birthday falls between the 11th and the 20th, it comes on the third Wednesday. And if your birthday falls between the 21st and the end of the month, your payment is scheduled for the fourth Wednesday. Once you know this, you never have to guess. You can look at any calendar and know exactly which day your deposit is coming every single month. That is really useful information, and I want everyone to save that. Now, Dyna, let's talk about COLA, because this is one of the most common questions we get from our senior authority community. It really is, Floyd. Social Security benefits are not fixed forever, and that is actually good news. Each year, they are adjusted through the cost of living adjustment, known as COLA. This adjustment is designed to help your benefits keep pace with inflation so that you do not lose purchasing power as everyday prices rise. It is calculated using inflation data that tracks price changes across the economy, especially in areas that affect older Americans most, like groceries, housing, healthcare, and transportation. Over the past few years, many retirees have seen meaningful increases in their monthly benefit amounts. But here is the reality I always bring back to our community. While your benefit may go up, the cost of essential items like food, energy, and prescription medications has also continued to rise. COLA adjustments are genuinely helpful, but many seniors still feel financial pressure because the overall cost of living can climb just as fast as the adjustment itself. And that financial pressure is exactly why conversations about additional support for retirees continue in Washington. Proposals have been introduced that could provide extra payments during periods of high inflation, adjustments to benefit formulas for long-term workers, and changes to how certain retirement benefits are calculated. Many of these are still being debated, but they reflect a growing national recognition of how much pressure retirees are under. And Dyna, beyond federal programs, you have done extensive research on state-level assistance that many retirees are completely unaware of. I have Floyd, and honestly, this might be the most underused resource in our entire community. Several states offer programs specifically designed to help seniors reduce their monthly expenses. These include property tax relief for older homeowners, utility assistance programs that help cover heating and electricity costs, especially during extreme weather seasons, and prescription assistance programs that can reduce medication costs significantly. Some states also offer direct rebate programs or financial assistance to help offset rising living expenses throughout the year. If you qualify for even one of these programs, it can make a real and immediate difference when you are managing a fixed monthly income. I genuinely encourage every single senior authority viewer to look into what is available in their state, because the number of people who qualify for assistance they simply do not know about is staggering. So let's bring everything together and give our viewers clear action steps they can take right now. First, keep your banking information current with the Social Security Administration at all times. If you change banks or open a new account, update that information immediately through your official Social Security online account or by contacting the SSA directly. Do not wait even 1 month, because a missed update can mean a missed payment. Second, know your bank's posting schedule. If your payment is not visible in the morning, check again later in the day before assuming anything is wrong. Third, know your exact payment date based on your birthday so you always know which Wednesday to expect your deposit. And fourth, protect yourself from scams without exception. The Social Security Administration will never call you asking for gift cards, wire transfers, or immediate payment to release your benefits. They will never demand sensitive banking information over the phone without warning. If anyone contacts you making those demands, hang up immediately and report it. That is a scam every single time, no exceptions. That is so important, Floyd. And I want to leave every retiree watching with this. The banking policy adjustments and fraud prevention systems being rolled out across the country are not cutting your Social Security benefits. Your monthly benefit amount is still determined by the Social Security Administration based on your work history, your eligibility, and your COLA adjustments. What these systems may affect is simply the exact moment that deposit becomes visible in your account balance. Once you truly understand that, a short delay stops being frightening and starts making complete sense. You go from panic to patience because you know your money is already on its way. And that peace of mind is exactly what Senior Authority is here to provide. Floyd Flow and Dyna are here every single week to make sure you have the knowledge to protect your retirement, understand your benefits, and make confident decisions with your money every month. Before you go, drop a comment below and tell us which city and state you are watching from and whether your Social Security payment has ever shown up later in the day than you expected. Your experience matters deeply because someone watching right now may be going through the exact same thing tonight, and your comment could be the answer they needed to hear. Make sure you subscribe right now, because next week, Dyna is breaking down which states are currently offering extra financial help to retirees and exactly how to find out if you qualify. You do not want to miss that one. We will see you next week right here on Senior Authority.